pissing and shitting at the Pizza Hut salad bar.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
If you're telling me that you're so bored with Rebirth that you want to play one of the most punishingly slow archaic RPGs from the PSX era, that's rough. But I still have not left the grasslands. I am getting bent over and boo-fooed by the Ubisoftification of this game, and my little rodent brain won't let me not do all of the little crap before I go move the story forward.
Yeah, I'm at Golden Saucer. It's slow going. I'm 40 hours into the game. I feel like this is never going to end.
I feel like it's never going to start.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
Just like, cool, you're introducing all of these new systems. Why is this here?
It never stops.
It never stops. I remember Bob Mackey of Retronauts and Talking Simpsons on the Rebirth episode of Retronauts they did about a year ago. He described the game as just like the stretch it out gesture.
But it's 40 minutes dogs barking. My name's Jason. This is Brian. RPG Nerds Unite. What the fuck? If you're playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, give us a shout. 314-246-9766. Tell us what you think. I am very intrigued to hear other people's takes on the game because I am half enjoying it and half beating my head against the wall. And like Brian said, I was looking up emulated versions of the original Persona and Persona 2, both of them, to play.
To put it out there, I am a huge fan of the original Persona. One of my favorite video game experiences ever was playing the original and learning all the different ways to get the other characters and stuff like that. And the original translation is absolutely fucking insane. It's like Jerry Springer. It's not even, it's so bad that it is actually charming. Like when you get like Alana and you have her flirt with the demons and she's like, you know, my chest is warm. Can you touch it and make sure? And they get like afraid. Like I remember like the skeletons being like, girl. Ugh.
Yeah, because I like the negotiation stuff SMT 4 and 5 have done recently.
The problem with the Persona games, I think, with a lot of RPGs from that era is the enemy encounter rate.
It's very high. And you're in that first-person perspective.
We're really getting off the rails here already, folks. It's gonna be a wild one.
It already is going to be a wild one because of all the stuff we're talking about tonight.
Gosh, I'm looking at what we have here for the What's Hot Classic.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Yep.
I'm leaving that in. Fuck it.
Fuck it. So, do you remember the episode that I edited?
Yeah.
They got surprisingly abnormal amount of listens because I said I edited it. There was a cough you did. I left in, but I left it in after when we used to have music at the very end.
Oh.
There was like 5 or 6 seconds of dead air, and then just...
Yeah, my coughs are legendary. I don't know how this keeps happening.
I mean, it was like something from an SNL skit.
Well,
like a Chris Farley thing where he get hit in the stomach with something.
I get it from my grandparents. My grandfather coughed, and it sounded like he was screaming. It was
just like the screaming goat.
Yeah, that's what he sounded like when he coughed.
My throat's killing me.
So welcome to the show.
Jesus Christ. I can already tell with this first topic here, it's already going off with a hitch.
So 404 Media brings us this story, and the headline simply, people are using AI to create influencers with Down syndrome who sell nudes. Whew. Emmanuel Myberg writing this just yesterday.
You know what I say to that? Finally.
Right.
We've done everything.
Waiting?
We've done everything else ridiculous.
Right.
Why not? Why not?
So Myberg writes, a network of Instagram accounts is using AI to steal content from human creators and deep fake their faces to make them look like they have Down syndrome.
I kid you not, because I'm into fitness.
Yeah.
I get served stuff on Instagram and Facebook that's fitness related.
Okay.
And legit got served one of these accounts. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is it. We're getting into we've mined everything else. You know what David Tell says, though?
Them titties ain't.
Them titties ain't.
404 Media, it continues here, has written multiple stories on the rapidly growing practice of people stealing content from human creators and using AI to replace their faces with AI-generated faces, posting that AI-modified content to Instagram and funneling viewers to adult content platforms where they can be monetized. What started as just a few accounts quickly evolved into entire industries with specialized tools, advertising strategies, and influencers who sell courses on how to create these fake influencers to get rich quick through what they call AI pimping.
It really is just a fucking race to the bottom, isn't it?
It really is. Newer accounts in recent months have started catering to increasingly specific niches and fetishes, including accounts of AI-generated women with amputated limbs.
I'm tapping the sign, and the sign is the Peter Griffin freaking sweet man-made... Was it man-made
horrors beyond my
comprehension?
Yes,
freaking sweet, Lois.
The AI-generated Down syndrome accounts are the latest and newest low for Instagram, which allows the rampant content theft that enables this practice and is now fueling a non-consensual fetishization and monetization of fake people with disabilities.
Amazing.
And so one of the accounts there is Maria Dopari, 148,000 followers. And the face swaps are pretty convincing, again, the 404 article says, and hard to notice, especially when scrolling quickly through Reels. But if you look closely, you can see the face sometimes has that too smooth quality that's common with AI image generation.
Are you sure it's just not people with an extra chromosome? Extra chromosome, extra smooth, right?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh.
Sure. Yeah, no, I just grew up when went through school with a couple people with Down syndrome, and a few of them had impeccable skin. Yeah, it was kind of like, you know what? At least you got really good chin.
You got something out of the deal. Yeah. So one of the
you got something for your troubles.
A little walking around money. Yeah,
walking around money. God, just a little something.
One of the posts says they all criticize my Down syndrome until ... I decide to wear tight clothes. Only fan? ? Text in another Maria video says as she dances, no, only down. Yes. So here's the image there that they found. It's on the left is the face swap. One on the right is a different face, same video, similar type of account. Another account called Zelia Videos, which has 112,000 followers, says in its bio, quote, I'm special not because I have Down syndrome, but because I don't let it define my life. It links out to a fan view page that does not disclose that it's AI generated, but many of the still images on the Instagram account clearly are. Additionally, several reels, which have been edited to make the woman in the videos look like she has Down syndrome, were posted weeks earlier by a different account with an entirely different face.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is wild. What happened to just jacking off? What just happened to...
Say, works for me. I don't got no problems,
I don't know what we'll be jerking off to in Goon War 3, but I know we'll be jerking off with Sticks and Stones in Goon War 4.
Yes, thank you. And apparently there is a Reddit community called r/Pussy Down Syndrome.
I do feel like I do feel like we're kind of getting into this weird realm of like the dark internet and stuff that gets riffed on by guys that have usernames on Twitter and Blue Sky like gay homo thug.
Yeah. Little homie gay ass.
Little homie gay ass, you know, Hispanic Sean White. I meant to say Hispanic Sean King, but also Hispanic Sean White with also whip ass. Absolutely. Not gonna lie,
love it. But yes, so a Reddit community, our pussy Down syndrome was started on February 8th. So far, includes only 2 posts, both of which are by the moderator promoting content from the aforementioned Maria account Reddit, and the moderator of that community did not respond to a request for comment. Neither did Instagram, FanView, or any of the accounts that were reached out to.
Amazing.
What are you going to answer that email like? Yeah, so
I've been doing pussy stuff. The face swap. The Emma Watson stuff was getting old, so I was like, you know what? Let's just. I found the slider and I just cranked it up to 10. I was like, oh, it makes it look like she has Down syndrome.
Perfect.
I found a new revenue stream, and I'm selling a course on it for $500.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Reddit, though, this, according to Know Your Meme, yes, a Reddit content moderation update flagged the word Luigi on some subreddits, which, of course, people went, what the fuck? Yes, the moderator on the subreddit r/popculture noted that a comment containing the name was flagged for violence by the Reddit auto moderator. The moderator then announced that r/popculture has been placed on restricted mode due to a lack of moderators, adding apparently saying Luigi is now against the rules too, even though they never told us all comments with the word Luigi get flagged as possible inciting violence. So this started kicking off at about March 5th. Reddit admin u/worst nerd, a little too on the nose, made a post on the subreddit r/Reddit safety. Today we're rolling out a new sort of enforcement action across the site. Historically, the only person actioned for posting violent content was the user who posted the content. The Reddit ecosystem relies on engaged users to downvote bad content and report potentially violative content. Starting today, users who, within a certain time frame, upvote several pieces of content banned for violating our policies will get a warning. We have done this in the past for quarantined communities and found that it helped reduce exposure to bad content, so we're experimenting with this site-wide. This will begin with users who are upvoting violent content, but we may consider expanding it in the future. In addition, while this is currently warn only, we will consider additional actions down the road. Now that the word Luigi is a banned word, that's going to be a problem because there's a lot of gaming forums that talk about Mario Bros.
Yeah. I'm sure that is not the only famous Luigi.
March 7th, a couple days after that, our pop culture chat writes, r/popculture is closed. This hub has been placed in restricted mode. The main mod was suspended for approving comments that mentioned Luigi. All comments with the word Luigi are tagged as inciting violence.
I think you're missing a really beautiful thing here. What? On March 7th, 2025, Redditor Pumpkin Spice Cum made a post to the subreddit r/freeluigi writing, PSA, the word Luigi is now flagged by Reddit for violence. I'm sorry, just Pumpkin Spice Cum. I mean,
the post contained a screenshot of a user's comment that read, "Can we talk about Luigi's Mansion 3 though?" It says, "Check for violence." That's beautiful.
That's so wild.
It's so dumb. And it continues. I mean, it's been going on for a while there, you know.
You know what? You may not be able to say Luigi, but you can just say pussy.
Absolutely can, especially if it's in the Pussy Down Syndrome subreddit. Jeez.
I went to the Pussy Down Syndrome Reddit and you weren't there.
Yeah, they didn't know you.
They didn't know you.
Gizmodo reached out to someone from Reddit. Reddit spokesperson said that r/Luigi Mangione was banned for glorification of violence. Let's see here. Our Free Luigi is still up. 37,000 followers. Another subreddit, r/Saint Luigi Mangione, a mere 2.3 thousand followers, but describes itself as being dedicated to, quote, the rise of class consciousness and, quote, the cause. And then the Gizmodo writer has to op-ed in here and say, whatever that means. You know what it means. The moderator of r/Free Luigi told Slate, no one in r/Free Luigi wants anyone to get murdered, and no one is celebrating that a man died. There are obviously some crazy people on the internet who are, but entire communities of 30,000 people shouldn't be punished for one person's actions. Reddit did not respond. So, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who the guy Mark Rober is. You familiar with this guy? All right, so he was a guy kind of came to fame.
Oh, wait, he was the glitter guy.
The glitter guy.
The glitter bomb guy.
All the glitter bombs and water. Can you swim in Jell-O? You know, we're going to do the glitter bomb versus the porch pirates, etc. Well, this week, he posted a video. It now has 16 million views. The title is, Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car? And he says, I'm in my Tesla on autopilot going 40 miles an hour towards a fake Wile E Coyote style wall.
And of course, he's driving a Model Y.
Of course.
Because hark back to a job I had when we first started this podcast. I had to deal with a lot of rich people. Mm-hmm. And the dumbest fucking rich people not just drove Teslas, but specifically the Model Y. I don't know, but Model Y was like oh, you were fed lead paint chips at your $40K a year private school, weren't you? You kind of wept for the human consciousness, the collective human consciousness. And it was always in the proximity of a Tesla Model Y.
So he goes through this 20-minute video. Most of it is spent in fucking Space Mountain for whatever reason, as he's trying to explain LiDAR and how it works.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Per this experiment. So he LiDAR'd Space Mountain.
Yes.
That's actually kind of fucking neat. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it was entirely irrelevant to the question of, can you fool a self-driving car?
Well, that is a YouTube strategy of
I know.
Taking the long way to explain something, particularly if you're going to do long form. Because, yes, this could be a 5-minute video, but you could really explain your thesis and your methodology and be informative and entertaining. You can tell I'm trying to start my own YouTube channel, can't you? Boy.
A little bit.
It sucks when you don't have 20 minutes for it. But if I was like eating breakfast and just needed to kill 20 minutes before I did my pre-workout or something, like this would be perfect.
Yeah. They do one with the child dummy. He fucking murks the kid, taking his head off. We simulate the kid dashing out on like a skateboard.
Well, there was that fucking video that went viral on Twitter a week or two ago of look at the autopilot saving this family. Thank God no one was hurt. It was someone driving in their Tesla. I guess they had autopilot engaged. And the person in oncoming traffic, I guess, was not paying attention and veered into their lane. And they caught themselves and got back into their lane, but autopilot was like, oh, you think I'm not going to hit you? And turned left into that person that corrected themselves and actually caused a head-on collision that had nothing happen as far as the person driving the Tesla. The Tesla. I love Tesla. Tesla. It's all computer.
Everything's computer.
God.
The dumbest, wettest man alive. I love it.
And that fucking photo that looks like that one guy in Sopranos who gets caught giving
Vito.
Vito, that's right. Yeah, Vito. It looks just like that fucking photo.
I know. I couldn't stop seeing it once I saw it.
Oh, I know we're fucking getting off track, but
no, I mean,
but is it proof that the autopilot is flawed?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's mainly because it uses a camera rather than LiDAR.
Right.
LiDAR is much more accurate. The camera is very inaccurate. And the main issue is that the camera works great on good roads. But guess what America doesn't have?
Yeah.
This isn't the EU.
The LiDAR sees the wall, stops, right? So then they get in the Model Y and got up to 40 miles an hour. Wile E Coyote style, just straight through the wall.
There was a kid, right?
Yes, there was also a kid behind the wall. And so
fuck that kid.
Not an actual kid, but a dummy.
The dummy.
Yeah, the same dummy they've already hit.
He fucking hits it so hard. He hits the dummy so hard that they on the slow-mo you can see that the body and the head separate, and the head is actually in air, motionless for a moment before the windshield collides with it. Amazing. Phenomenal. Listen.
And he apologizes to the dummy like, sorry, little fella.
I'm sorry you can't go die in Iran.
Yeah. That one, I've watched it a couple different times, and oh boy, it just never gets old. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with What's Hot Classic tonight is epitomized by just saying the phrase, "I'm here, you fuck-ass bitch." So this all started on Blue Sky a couple days ago. There was a bit of an argument going on. I don't even remember what it was about because a lot of the users have been blocked or deleted their tweets, or deleted their skeets, or, you know.
Yeah.
And so what I have here is a screenshot courtesy of Something Awful user Bag Monkey. It's the Blue Sky user Electric Head. Come on, time and place, tough guy. And he's tagged, by the way, as Bard, Rogue, and Kiki. I don't know what that's about, but Graham Kerwin responding, The Quarry, Home Depot parking lot, 7. Now, apparently this is in Minnesota. Electric Head responding, see you there. At Shelby R saying, take video. Graham Curran responding with a photo of the Home Depot parking lot, and I'm here, you fuck-ass bitch. Fuck-ass is spelled with 2 A's instead of 2 S's. I'm here, you fuck-ass bitch. Which then created so many different people. Here's at Special Baby. I'm here, you fuck ass bitch. And it's a picture of Grover House from the back. And someone responding to at Special Baby. That's a drunken bard. I need that house to be deleted right now. Whoever approved that design deserves to be in prison. And then at Special Baby responding simply with the Know Your Meme page for Grover House. A lot of other people who were in on the joke posting other Grover House pictures, including the one with the awful TV setup.
I feel like we could do Grover House like once a year, just bring on a different guest. So just find different things to roast about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bad cable management.
Everything. Everything's awful. All the different... There's like 18 skylights on the second floor for no discernible reason. But yes, I'm here, you fuck ass bitch. Here's Isabel. It's the Dash Con ball pit. Here's my favorite. I'm here, you fuck ass bitch. And it's Anne Orlando from Dark Souls 1. 1v1 me and Anne Orlando, you sick fuck.
Oh boy, the internet. It's all computer.
Everything's computer.
Everything's computer. You watched that, right?
Oh, multiple times.
It's insane. He's reading a literal fucking. He's reading a sales prop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got one that's 35,000. That's not too much, I guess.
I'm buying one for my granddaughter.
They don't let me drive. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're old, you fuck ass bitch.
You know, it is one of the most interesting photos I think in the last like 20 years. Is a photo that Melania took. She's in the backseat of, I guess, like a Range Rover, and it's Trump driving. And Barron's in the passenger seat, and they're like listening to like I can't remember what
Elton John, probably
Elton John or something, you know, something along those lines, some classic rock. And you just gotta wonder what the vibe was like in that car.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I also just can't imagine Donald Trump driving.
Right, he's been ferried around by limo drivers for a good portion of his life. I can't imagine that he remembers how.
Yeah,
if he ever learned in the first place. Right? He's son of a rich guy. You don't drive yourself.
He lacks that one rich guy quality, which is he's not in the cars.
Which made the whole Tesla thing really weird. Like, why are you talking about cars? We've never heard you talk about cars. And you're not like Joe Biden talking about
it made sense for Joe Biden to talk about cars because he was a car nerd.
Right.
He liked Corvettes.
My dad, he could drive a car.
Oh man, that guy could drive a car.
All right.
But, it made sense when he was...
Yeah,
in the F-150 Lightning or whatever,
whatever it was, muscle cars. That was his time growing up, right? Or he wanted a T-Bird when he was young, or whatever. It definitely vibes with his whole Scranton scrappy dude,
working class, whatever kind of, or at least working class
adjacent,
or cognizant.
Well, I mean, I don't care how well off you are. You still want a T-Bird at the end of the day. I mean,
you want a fucking Thunderbird. Yeah. And I mean, my grandpa had 77 Celica.
See?
every once in a while, I'll see a Facebook Marketplace ad for a 70s Celica, and it gets me, man.
I saw a Oldsmobile Sierra, Cutlass Sierra, in a movie the other day, and I was like, motherfucker, I want that car.
What's fucking crazy is the only other time I've seen a late 70s Celica like my grandpa had was in Portland, Oregon. Just like walking down the street and just seeing like the same color gray and everything. Like, fuck, all right. I had to take a photo of it. Like, I mean, fuck, man. For all I know, it could have been my grandpa's. Could have been the same car. Yeah. It could have been. Yeah. It could have got thrown on, bring a trailer, and ended up cross country. Who fucking knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But you don't see. I mean, you might see some Mazdas from the 70s.
Yeah.
The coupes.
Yeah.
But you don't really see the Toyotas. They import a lot of those, and a lot of them didn't survive.
You don't see a lot of Toyotas. You don't see a lot of Oldsmobiles anymore. A lot of that's fucking Obama. The cash for clunkers thing really took a lot of these cherry-ass old cars off the road.
That's why you don't see Opals anymore.
I know. That's why you don't see a Geo Metro. That's why you don't
see a fucking Beretta or a Celebrity. I mean, some of those cars probably shouldn't be on the road. But like, if you were like a guy that wanted a project car.
A Chevy Cavalier. I haven't seen a Chevy Cavalier in 20 years.
Fucking man, when's the last time you seen a Dodge Neon?
Long time. But anyway, it's time for Crypto Scam of the Week.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
Now, we talked about, in our extremely long episode, about all the scams and flams and whatnots.
Crime season.
Libra, one of the many crypto scams. But that was the big one. Well, apparently, the gentleman who has been linked to Libra has decided, yep, I'm going to take another stab at it. This, according to the Crypto Times, Hayden Davis has just introduced a new token, $Wolf, even as he has been subject to legal attention and an Interpol red notice for his role in previous token scandals. Wolf started getting attention after Wall Street Bets. That's right. Hyped it, rising to a market cap of $40 million before suddenly falling apart in what appears to be a rug pull. Bubble Maps here.
Man, it's bad when Bubble Maps is fucking blowing up your fucking game.
And it says on-chain experts discovered 82% of the supply rested with a small list of wallets, indicating, of course, insider trading. So yes, Bubble Maps. Hayden Davis launched Wolf. And now on an Interpol notice, the creator of Libra and Melania tried his best to hide it. So yes, Bubble Maps, this says together with CoffeeZilla, I think it was a parallel type of thing, initially exposed his role and cautioned he might try launching another one. This recent probe affirms that he is the mastermind behind Wolf, although he tried concealing his identity. And yes, he is the subject of an Interpol red notice, courtesy of Argentine attorney Gregorio Dalbon. They, of course, said, well, we do this so that he gets arrested and extradited. It hasn't happened yet, and he got to do a fucking another one.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I kind of come back to this, but I feel bad for like the sincere finance nerds that just want to see what numbers can do.
Yeah. It's one thing to do that.
There's plenty of fucking crypto projects that are legitimate in that sense, where it's just like, it just seems like a bunch of fucking computer nerds that wanted to see if they could make something sustainable with these certain perimeters and use the blockchain. Now you got so many I mean, there was a big crypto influencer that went and said, you know, hey, here's all of the fucking shitty fucking coins, you know, fart coin, all this stuff, butt coin, that fucking blew up. None of us fucking bought because it's fucking stupid. We're in it for the tech and hoping that tech makes us money. We're not here for the bullshit. Yeah. And the whole thing is, you should have just bought the bullshit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
It seems to be the way you make money.
They used to say curve left. That used to be like a legitimate crypto strategy. It's like, don't do what you would do as a smart investor. Do what you would do if you were like some guy that delivers pizza and is about to get his car repossessed.
Curve left as opposed to...
curve left as in like your IQ.
Oh. Eat the crayons. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, just absolute fucking empty head that shit. And that is the unfortunate state of this market, is that if you were to spend your money on the dumb fucking meme bullshit in the last 3 months, you probably would have done better if you invested in a crypto project that had like a real roadmap and had like a docs team and seemed to be up and up, had partnerships with actual real companies, like, something
Boring.
Exactly. Something as far as crypto goes seems legit, at least like a real company.
Seems legit is the important part of that, yeah.
I mean, there's even, I guess you would call like an indie project. There's lots of stuff that's like real fucking people that have real bona fides. Wallet allocations aren't scammy, at least on a normal dive. It doesn't look like it's complete bullshit. But if you had invested in like one of the Yeezy Nazi coins, you'd be up 1,300%.
We put it off long enough, folks. We've been doing this show for 136 episodes, and now it's time to talk about movies. Yes, we talk about movies every episode. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a website about movies, famously parodied in multiple different pieces of media that came out around the time when it was popular, led by noted sex pest Harry Knowles. That's right, folks. Ain't It Cool News?
He's a sex pest?
We'll get into that later on here, but yes.
He seems asexual.
Yes, and very weird.
Yeah, like a guy that would run Ain't It Cool News.
Yeah, so warning for anyone who is upset by any kind of conversation about that, just kind of a heads up.
Yeah, if the stuff about the Down syndrome AI influencers didn't offend you, you might want to tune out to the
54 minutes. Skip ahead 8 minutes to an hour and 2 minutes.
to avoid us talking about a guy with curly hair being gross and weird among other people in a sexual way.
All right, so
Harry Knowles, more like Harry Knuckles, man.
Heyo. So Ain't It Cool News was launched in 1996, Brian.
Wow.
One of the earliest websites we've ever talked about on this show. Ain't It Cool News got its name from a quote from John Travolta's character in John Woo's American breakthrough film Broken Arrow. So apparently the site began when Knowles got hooked on the internet while recovering from a debilitating accident.
Huh.
Started out in news groups talking about films, and then built the website. Born in Austin, Texas, his accident is that he tripped on a hose at a memorabilia show and injured his back, partially paralyzing his legs. And that's when he started writing online, as he was kind of laid up at home.
That's like a Mr. Magoo thing.
It really is. It's so insanely
God, I misplaced my Transformers.
They were new in box, and I fell over the fire hose outside the building.
Bent my Wookiee.
Yeah.
Just like, God damn, man.
The lamest man possible, yeah.
Brother, you got 2 feet when you were born. Learn how to fucking use them.
I'm telling you.
I've always understood he was kind of like the movie nerd's nerd.
Right. So apparently, according to the Hollywood Reporter, his start was actually doing some of this news for the Drudge Report.
Huh.
We talked about the Drudge Report here on the show.
Yes, we have.
And it is also one of the oldest websites that we've covered. So then he started Ain't It Cool News. And this Hollywood Reporter article from 2013 is pretty interesting because he's going through a bit of a weird crisis here. You know, he's 16 years in at this point. And again, this is 2013. He's trying to have this like, well, this company's not really all that successful or whatever. And so he's trying to figure things out. The Chicago Tribune in 1998. Chicago Tribune, those of you who don't know, was also the place where Roger Ebert published a lot of his reviews. This one is just, the byline is just Chicago Tribune, but something tells me Roger had a little bit of hand in this. Ain't It Cool News, it starts, looks for all the world like the overgrown homepage of an obsessed movie fan with way too much time on his hands. Way too much time. The graphics are crude and ugly. The writing is raw, breathless, over-caffeinated. Harry Knowles, the site's creator, seems to believe that the best way to convey enthusiasm is to add an exclamation point or 3 or a dozen to nearly every sentence. Knowles, it should be noted, has a lot of enthusiasm to convey. His sprawling webpage devoted to, quote, all that is cool within the film industry lists links to information on such things as the status of, quote, Pierce Brosnan's, all caps, Robinson Crusoe flick, 3 exclamation points, and rumors about, quote, Kevin Costner and Planet of the Apes, 5 question marks, 7 exclamation points, another 6 question marks, another 5 exclamation points, and then the emoticon for a frowny face. Again, this is 2 years into the website. The Chicago Tribune's writing them up.
That's ridiculous.
I know. It became a place where tens of thousands of fans turned first for inside information on the workings of the Hollywood machine. Knowles, whose site started several years ago as, well, the overgrown homepage of an obsessed movie fan, has been a guest on Good Morning America and featured in Vanity Fair. Although studios initially regarded him as something of a wild card, they're now actively courting his favor. Again, this is 1998. Knowles has managed to get invited onto the closed movie set of the upcoming Bruce Willis thriller Armageddon.
Oh!
Yeah. And last year he was flown by Sony to the Los Angeles premiere of Starship Troopers, where, by some accounts, he was the hit of the party. Some have even suggested that the site's positive reports on test screenings of Titanic helped to transform the movie's pre-release scuttlebutt from, quote, dead in the water, which was Times' Richard Corliss quoted, to potential blockbuster. Is Knowles, the Chicago Tribune asks in 1998, a bearded 20-something still living with his parents in Austin, Texas, really one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, as Willow Bay of Good Morning America recently put it? Well, as Knowles might say, not exactly, 3 exclamation points. But along with several other internet gossip hounds, among them Matt Drudge of the infamous Drudge Report, Patrick Sauriol of Coming Attractions, and Jill the Diva Stemple of Cyber Sleaze, Knowles and his partner have begun to reinvent the gossip column for the information age. Rod Lurie, a screenwriter and former journalist who now hosts a movie-related show on Los Angeles' KABC-AM, says this about Knowles: he has come to represent what is probably the most dynamic and dramatic change in film marketing since the ability to market on television. Right now, a movie's advance word of mouth depends as much on Harry Knowles as it does on the marketing teams at various studios. So, Ain't It Cool News is essentially a gossip page. It's the society pages, it's variety, it's a number of things all rolled into one. The breathless reporting of minutia is, I think, the best way I've thought to put this fucking website, because it has been going strong for damn near 30 years now. Is it still running, by the way?
Yeah, it sure fucking is. It's just an interesting bit of internet history to think that one guy had that much alleged sway.
A 25-year-old with a bad back laid up at his parents' house.
Yeah, being kind of like the everyman movie critic.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I think the Harry Knowlesification of movie news has really, really sunk a lot of people. We're obsessed with box office now. A 20-minute video dissecting a 2-minute trailer for an upcoming film. That type of shit, I lay all at his feet.
That's fair.
But people went nuts over this guy.
I do feel like caring about box office and runtime,
Bird brain behavior.
because people talk about how a movie did financially before they talk about the content of it.
Right.
Like you talk about Mickey 17, people talk about how
it's a disappointment at the box office. Blah, blah.
But
Who fucking cares? Was the movie good? Did you like it?
I had fun. I had a fucking great time.
I know you did. We talked about it last week, but
Or a week or two ago. Yeah. I thought it was a fun movie, and I've met a couple other people and seen a lot of people that kind of had the same thing. Like, yeah, it just wasn't marketed right. And Warner Brothers didn't have faith in it, obviously, because they were going to try and release it in January. That is a more pertinent conversation, unfortunately, rather than like this movie didn't find its audience,
right.
but it is worth your time.
And I think that's where
the artistry and so on. Like, you know, my friend inviting me to go see a Spanish comedy from the 80s that I knew nothing about. I mean, it was at the time, I think, the most successful movie in Spain.
Right, but you
from
didn't
Spain.
know anything
Didn't
about
really know
it.
shit about it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, this looks goofy. It was an incredibly interesting movie in its sense of humor, and it's an amazing cultural time capsule. Knowing how it did financially was like not even a third tier or fourth tier thought. it was one of the last things I found out about it. Get yourself set up for success.
Ain't It Cool News has been a thorn in the side of people in Hollywood since that time. His reviews, or the people that work for him's reviews, or at least until Rotten Tomatoes kind of took over as being the arbiter of taste, that was how you knew what was good, right? A lot of people felt that way. Users' appraisals of movies in the process. Here's photos from the set of...
I'm sorry, you're scrolling through that piece. I want to say I saw a reference to Last Action Hero.
Yes. Okay.
Ugh. Ugh.
That's from Los Angeles Times 2001. The headline, Cyberspace Taking the Sneak Out of Sneak Previews. David Shaw writing. It says, Warner Brothers, for example, blamed Ain't It Cool News for the bad buzz that preceded the release of Batman and Robin, which contributed to the film's box office flop in 1997. I don't think anyone but maybe me and a handful of people were reading Ain't It Cool News in 1997. Not enough to influence the box office of Batman and Robin.
I mean, but I feel like some of the biggest word of mouth, this movie is awful, even as a kid, that I heard in the 90s, particularly the late 90s, was like Batman, Robin, Last Action Hero, even though it was early 90s.
Yeah, because that was 4 years before the website was created, so they can't lay that on his feet.
Sure. In this story, they're citing a Times piece,
right,
talking about a preview, a pre-screen,
which Columbia Pictures says never took place.
I mean, I've seen Last Action Hero, and I'm not saying that movie doesn't have high points, but it's pretty fucking bad.
It's got a lot more high points than low points, but it's definitely a mixed bag depending on how you feel about parodies of action movies and depending on how you feel about Arnold Schwarzenegger as a comedic actor.
I think he could be funny.
He can be, given the right script. I don't think Last Action Hero was the right script for him. And now if they'd reversed the roles and like given this to Stallone, I think Stallone could have carried it a little bit better. He did a great job in Demolition Man, kind of doing the parody of an action hero, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, they're saying, oh, well, Columbia Pictures says a Los Angeles Times story on a reported test screening that they insisted never took place helped kill Last Action Hero in 1993. In this piece, they're saying like, hey, sometimes these websites and media can fuck with our movies. I don't necessarily know that that's true. I think word of mouth is way more important. Here's another 1997 piece. New York Times Magazine. The headline, The Two Hollywoods, Harry Knowles is always listening. Bernard Weintraub writing. Now, here's what happened after 20th Century Fox held a secret screening of Alien Resurrection, a new film directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and starring Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder at a theater in Camarillo, California. That night, more than 40 audience members went home and emailed positive reviews to Knowles, who immediately posted them to the website. And at 9 the next morning, the director's agent, Robert Newman of International Creative Management in Beverly Hills, began getting calls. Executives from every studio called and asked what Jean-Pierre wanted to do next, says Newman. They cited what they saw on Ain't It Cool News.
That is insane. On a couple fronts,
right? Yeah.
Because I think Alien Resurrection might kind of be an objectively bad movie.
One of Jeunet's worst.
He's done some really bad stuff since they don't let him out of Europe anymore. But Sea of Lost Children, Amelie,
Delicatessen,
huge fucking love for Sea of Lost Children
and Delicatessen and Amelie, really.
Yeah, I mean three
really
heavy hitters, but Sea Lost Children is a movie that still looks as fucking good now today as it did 30 years ago. And that's fucking amazing.
Which is very rare. It's that and Terry Gilliam stuff.
There was even some CGI that still looked good. It was just starting to show its age. And mind you, they only got 3 or 4 CGI shots in that whole entire movie.
I was going to say, it's like Terminator 2 where there's like 3 or 4, but...
And that's why they still look so good, is they only used them a few times. That movie kind of sucked. Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. I think the best parts of Alien Romulus were bits they recycled from Resurrection and made better.
Yeah. Again, not that Resurrection doesn't have high points, doesn't have interesting lore stuff.
Sure.
If you're an Aliens guy. But it's a tough movie to watch. Even though I do love some of the performances, I do love some of the concepts, some of the direction.
Ron Perlman Love him.
Fuck, Ron Perlman's. I mean, Sigourney's great. I mean,
Even
the fucking
Winona Ryder.
basketball.
Apparently that was a real reaction.
That was a real fucking reaction from the crew.
Because she nailed it in one. I don't know if she nailed it in one, but
she nailed it.
They were gonna cut and have someone else take the actual shot that went in, but no look behind the back.
Which again, Sigourney Weaver, one of the greatest of all time, full bush
so much in Alien that they had to
the airbrush scope it out. Yeah.
They had to airbrush it out of the final cut.
Amazing.
We love
powerful.
We love Sigourney. But this same article does continue, though. Chris Pula, the head of theatrical marketing at Warner Brothers, is even more blunt. He's talking about Knowles. It's growing to be a force, but what they're doing is scary and inappropriate. They're taking an unfinished product and judging it, and that's unfair to the director, to the people working on the film, and to the consumer. To Pula, the real threat is that Knowles' website, with its early film reviews and gossip about casting decisions and movies in trouble, is starting to set the journalistic agenda in Hollywood. The advance buzz about a movie has an effect on stories and even reviews, and Knowles is affecting the buzz. Quote, they printed a rumor that we were reshooting the end of Batman and Robin, Pula says. Well, all of a sudden, it was the buzz. Everyone was calling. It was destructive. It was not true, and it woke me up to their influence. Knowles views himself as a David fighting the Goliath of the studio machine. Quote, it's the truth, he says. I want to tell people the truth. You see these ads in newspapers or on TV, the greatest movie ever made, fantastic film, and it's fake. It's just fake. It comes from newspapers you've never heard of, and I just hate when they do that. Families are tricked into paying $40 or $50 to see a bad movie. I'm not out to trash movies. That's not it. I'm just trying to cut through all the hype. That was his quote. Now, while that
a
may
noble
or may
message.
not be true, you know,
I think your criticism still stands.
and I mean, here is the site as it stands today. There's a GIF of Singing in the Rain right up on the left-hand side there. Barbarella gets Deadshot directors Charlie and Tom Gardner on her site. Barbarella is one of the contributors to the site. Wrath of Becky stars and directors at South by Southwest. Here's people talking about the movie High Rollers. This caught my attention because somebody reposted it. It was from a couple of years ago on Slate. The headline, The Worst Movie Review Ever Written is Still Poisoning the Air, written by Jason Bailey. And there's Harry Knowles.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
The troll doll.
It really is. He's a troll doll that came to life. And then on the side there is Wesley Snipes in Blade 2.
I mean, Blade 2, to be fair, is hot garbage.
I don't know about that. I definitely don't think it's one of Guillermo del Toro's best movies. And I definitely don't think it's the best Blade movie. That's obviously the first one.
Mm-hmm. Was it Blade 2 or Blade 3 where they had the CGI Wesley Snipes opening his eyes?
That was Blade 3. It was Blade Trinity.
Okay.
With Ryan Reynolds in it. He said he was going to work a gag of that into Deadpool and Wolverine, but they didn't have time. So, so this review, I'm gonna read parts of this review because I don't know that I can read the whole thing. March 17th, 2002. All right, so we're on our 23rd anniversary of this. By HeadGeek. HeadGeek was the username that Harry Knowles used for himself.
So it would make sense that he would write a review that has lots of innuendo.
Oh, it's nothing but. So a warning, Blade 2 is an R-rated movie. This is the NC-17 review of it. You have been warned. For me to review Blade 2, it is a major conflict of interest because Guillermo del Toro and I are brothers. His father says so. His wife believes this. Guillermo and I are just the best of friends, but when El Gordo calls my father Dad and I call his dad Pops, and we delve into hours of passionate discussion about H.P. Lovecraft, Goya, Steve Ditko action, the movies, and pussy, we can lose all track of time on planet Earth.
Excuse me?
Uh-huh. But having attended the world premiere of Blade 2 last night, one inescapable thought crossed my mind during the movie. 10-1. I believe Guillermo del Toro eats pussy better than any man alive.
This is before Hellboy.
Yeah. Watch his House of Pain sequence in Blade 2. Blade 2 is the tongue, mouth, fingers, and lips of a lover. The audience is the clit. Watch your audience. This is where Guillermo del Toro goes down on the audience. It starts with long licks with a nose bump on the joy button, slowly. He smiles as he does this. watching the audience begin to squirm. Then he takes the audience's clit in his mouth and just licks it like crazy. The audience is ready, on that precipice. Then calm, he backs off, long licks again, brings in a finger to massage a bit, licks from the bottom to the top. The audience is cooing. He has them. They want release. He acts like he's going to give it to you, takes you right to the edge. The audience's backs arched, ready to come. Backs off, pinching the nipples, just so, his head bobbing up to say, "You like?" The audience shifts around, needing release. He builds again, the pressure at a near boiling point. Each stroke and moment a hypersensitive place. 2 fingers to the sweet spot. The audience is there, right at that point. Suddenly, he's relentless, taking the audience through a rampage of orgasms, trying to get away, trying to escape, back, but he has you, and he's never going to let you forget this moment. The audience was electric, frenetically frothing. Guillermo hears them begging, no more, when he decides to stop for a moment. There is that relaxed calm. The audience relaxes. Labored breathing, a sated smile. When suddenly the relentless bastard is at it again. You begin laughing, trying to push him away, but no. More pleasure, more joy, more fun. You can't handle it. You start giggling and screaming, and it goes like this for quite some time till the end. The credits roll. The theater lights come up. You look at the screen, you realize you want that tongue again. You want that feeling again, and you watch it again and again because, damn, he respects the clit.
So, I don't necessarily think that is a bad piece of writing.
Is it? You don't think so?
I think as far as the metaphor. However, we don't fucking need that. I don't. It is not the worst comparison to an experience or something to oral sex I have ever read.
Okay.
But you didn't need to do that to us.
Correct.
I'm glad you have the writing chops for this, but you didn't need to flex on us.
Completely unnecessary.
I respect your gangster, but please keep it outside.
To some of you, that might sound familiar. That is because in 2 different scenes in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Kevin Smith riffs on this. The clit commander.
That's right.
Okay, so the clit commander, he respects the clit. But also, during a scene where Jay and Silent Bob are going to the artist who created the comics Blunt Man and Chronic to explain to this guy, you got to stop this movie from being made. He introduces them to the internet. And one of the movie sites that he talks about is a website called moviepoopshoot.com.
That's right.
Moviepoopshoot.com is full of writing and looks almost identically like Ain't It Cool News, like in the design and everything. I believe it was actually online for a long time between the release of that and Clerks 2. Let me see if I can find. Here's the bit that was appeared on screen during the film. Welcome to the shooting range, the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, the movie Poop Shoot, the butt with the film reel coming out of it. Definitely feels like an Ain't It Cool News thing. Now, all of this is all fun and games until shit went really weird. Also, there was a great Penny Arcade comic in the early 2000s, 2005. They had done this long bit about one of their characters getting adapted to a film. Very clearly, Ain't It Cool News with the header taken off. Set and script reports are in for Dr. Raven Dark Talon Blood. I haven't been this excited since Flapjack Festival at the Pancake Palace. Hey folks, Harry here with a big bucket of sloppy man jam for Dr. Raven Dark Talon Blood. The script is the apex of man's achievement. It is so hot that it melted butter, which I applied liberally to my genitals. DRBTD set reports are starting to pour in like whale cum. Weta is on board to handle the effects, which makes me Weta with sperm. Let us all drown in semen. And so, yes, it's very, very fun.
You tried to get me to laugh at Penny Arcade and it didn't work.
The makes me wet with sperm, nothing? Okay, all right. But it was a very
I get it. It's in the pop culture, it's in the water. I get that part. I just think it's funny that those guys don't look like that.
No, it is extremely funny. Why are you bald? So, 2017 brought about some bad news for Harry Knowles. This, according to IndieWire, Harry Knowles allegedly sexually assaulted Austin woman 2 decades ago, and Draft House owners didn't take action. An Austin area woman said Ain't It Cool News founder Harry Knowles sexually assaulted her at an Alamo Draft House event. But the reason she's speaking out now is she believes change is coming. Now again, 2017, Me Too is in full effect. Harry Knowles groped me opportunistically on more than one occasion, says Jasmine Baker. I cannot stay silent. I am not interested in staying silent. In 1999 to 2000, Baker was familiar with Knowles and his website as they often attended the same Draft House events. Baker was at a Draft House event when Knowles allegedly rubbed up against her buttocks and legs in a way that made her feel uncomfortable. While she was initially willing to consider it was an accident, she said that on later occasion he rubbed up against her again. She confronted him about this behavior and made it clear he did not have her consent to touch her in any manner. Quote, he just giggled about it.
To be fair, he did not look at his phone the entire time.
That is fair. On at least one occasion, Baker alleges that he also put his hand under her shirt. Knowles, of course, I categorically deny it. Knowles said they were friends. She treated me like a confidant. He said their friendship ended in 2002, shortly after Knowles and a mutual friend broke up. This might be the boys' club that former Alamo Draft House programmer Todd Brown is referring to in his statement. That type of mentality of, well, what are you going to do, Baker said, referring to the statement by former Fantastic Fest programmer, again, Todd Brown, who publicly resigned last week. 20 years ago, 18 years ago, women routinely were encouraged to just watch their own behavior, and other people who wanted to do inappropriate things or say inappropriate things and be inappropriate and leer and be lecherous without your permission, without your consent, the air in the room was more on the side of, well, you should watch what you do, not don't touch people without their consent. No means no. Baker, who later worked for Draft House from 2003 to 2007, said she met and became friends with Draft House founders Tim and Carrie League shortly after they opened their first theater in 1997. When she told the Leagues about the incidents soon after they occurred, Baker said, quote, they thought it was horrifying, but also didn't know what to do. Their suggestion was just avoid him, she said. And I did that. In light of all that has happened for them publicly today, they might make a different choice about how to handle someone they did business with. But at that time, they were trying to bring inclusiveness to everyone and also didn't want to confront a business partner. So yes, Knowles and Tim League went on to become two of the Fantastic Fest founders in 2005. And 1999, Alamo Draft House did start hosting the Butt-Numathon, an annual screening event for films that Harry Knowles personally selected. It was very bizarre. And in response, a number of contributors then resigned. Tim League did announce that the company severed all ties. And the Austin Film Critics Association voted to remove Knowles as a member of the group at the time. 3 days later, 4 more women came forward, making accusations against Harry Knowles. And he then said, okay, I'm stepping down from the site, putting his sister Danny in charge. And then she herself posted, yeah, there's going to be female control of the site. Of course, Harry had to come out with an apology 3 years later. Not sure why, but all right. Hey folks, Harry here. A few days ago in a review, I made a misguided attempt to talk about allegations against me from my perspective. That was a mistake. I can do better. I am still coming to terms with the realization that I hurt people, and I have been hesitant to talk about it because of my fear of offending anyone even further. So, for over 2 years, I haven't said much of anything about it. After stepping away from Ain't It Cool News, being forced out of Fantastic Fest, getting kicked out of the Austin Film Critics Association, and being banned from all Alamo Draft House locations, I just wanted to check out for a while to work on myself and my marriage and try to reconcile the accusations. While it definitely hurts to know that there are people who think you're a garbage person, it is uniquely painful to realize you tragically misread the room and hurt someone, whether intentionally or not. While I've always seen myself as a wisecracking know-it-all with a twisted sense of humor, I have come to understand that my innuendo, even with the women I had chatted up for years, wasn't as amusing as I thought it was. What I thought was a genuine lull was apparently only polite laughter as they slowly backed out of the virtual room. What I considered an obvious joke wasn't so obvious in the vacuum of text conversations. I know my intentions were not malicious, but I now understand that my Poor judgment puts some women in icky situations. So here we are. I apologize to the women I hurt. I apologize to the readers I disappointed. I apologize that it took over 2 years to get here. I apologize to the writers who kept the site going while I tried to figure this all out. I apologize for all the mistakes I probably made in this apology. I fucked up. And I feel terrible about it, and I'm truly sorry for all the pain I've caused. While I know for some this is too little too late, please know that I am sincerely trying to make a move in the right direction. My first best purpose in life is to share and pass on the film knowledge and enthusiasm that my parents infused into my DNA. I am writing on Ain't It Cool News again for those that have been writing me wanting my particular glasses full optimism and love for cinema. I won't be at any critic screenings or advanced screenings. My days of hosting events are behind me, and that is a profound sadness. We should always treat everyone with the utmost respect and consideration. Words have consequences, and so do actions. I dedicate myself to loving my family, friends, and films for the rest of my life. I would hope as much for all of you. Keep it cool, Harry. As an apology goes, not too shabby.
Seems sincere.
It feels very real. It feels very in line with the way he wrote. It does not feel like managed or PRified or lawyerized. Yeah. Kudos. 2 years is a bit long to get here.
Sure. And he acknowledges that.
I know.
And I think for some people, it takes a long time to reconcile the way they've hurt others.
Right.
So we have to, not knowing every single minutia and every single detail, have a little bit of grace on that aspect.
Understood.
But I don't disagree. 2 years is a hair too long.
If you're judging by how fast the internet moves, especially,
yeah,
by 2 years, everyone's written you off.
I don't know. He also stepped back from his website because I hadn't heard about him for a while. Remember? Oh yeah, I remember now the Alamo Draft House stuff. Yeah, okay, now I remember this. And
yeah, I mean, Alamo Draft House has been doing exceptionally well even without his involvement.
Sure.
And so I feel like he didn't really need to say anything. That's just me. You've been out of the conversation for so long. A lot of people have already kind of made their peace with you or what you were or are. And it's like, just leave it be. There's a certain type of guy who grew up maybe fat and nerdy and who doesn't know boundaries and who doesn't understand that what he thinks is funny, other people are like, wow, that's fucking gross.
Right. Human existence is weird, particularly if you're not the most well-socialized person or awkward person. Like, I get that part. And I think for him, he felt like he probably could not come back and be a part of the website without addressing this.
Right.
Which is fair. And he does say, like, I'm not trying to put myself back in front of everyone, but, you know, this is something I care about, and I'm going to do better. I want to do better. You know, he says, I'm not going to be in public.
Right.
I just want to be a movie nerd, and I want to share that with people. You know, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Which I guess is kind of coming full circle. He's just going to be writing about it on his computer. Not necessarily at his parents' house anymore, but
sure.
Still,
but like, I just want to do the thing that I'm good at. You know, I don't think we have the responses from the people that he's maybe offended that have levity to that statement, but it could be worse. It could be so much worse.
That's fair. So if you're still interested in movie news like that, sadly, Ain't It Cool News really isn't the place to get your info anymore. Chances are there's a million YouTube channels that are doing that same kind of...
Fucking Gizmodo.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But that kind of quote-unquote reporting, I have a lot of problems with it, personally, just because it takes what is supposed to be just a finished product and turns it into breathless speculation. And
I was going to say spectacle, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of influence that Harry Knowles had, both good and bad. Good that everyone on the internet feels like they're entitled to express their opinion about film. It's part of the reason why fucking Letterboxd is still around, right? Like that type of shit. At the same time, it's also, we get these insane pieces about, well, so-and-so is out as a director of this. It's like, yeah, do you know how many movies have changed directors mid-filming or like before anything really got off the ground?
Gosh, I mean, how many times Watchmen almost got off the ground?
How long was Alien 3 in development? Like, there's just so... Did you like the movie? That, to me, is the only thing I really give a shit about. And even the folks at RogerEbert.com have fallen prey to some of this stuff. And it's like, no, that's for variety. That's for the trades. You don't do this. You're talking about film, not about the business of film. To me, I think there should be a separation between art and business. The art is the art and the business is the business. Let the trades take care of who made what and what the box office numbers are and who's in and who's out and whatever. You talk about what the film is, does, or says. But again, some people disagree with me and like, well, it's all part of the whole package. I don't like caring about box office numbers. That doesn't matter anything to me. No. Some of my favorite movies were box office bombs.
Yeah.
Right? So who fucking cares?
Number one Hudson Hawk fan right here.
No, but Death to Smoochie infamously flopped, and I like that movie very much. So even Drowning Mona didn't do too well at the box office, but it was a great little film.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Election. They thought it was going to be a big hit.
Oh, God. Sure shit wasn't.
It was not. And yet Criterion Collection put out a 4K a couple months back. So who knows more? The guys at the box office or the people of the Criterion Collection?
I'm going to say Criterion Collection.
Probably. I would imagine, yeah, by a wide margin. But anyway, well, you know what's not going to be in the Criterion Collection, Brian?
Oh, our shock.jpg.
That is correct. It is shock.jpg time.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
This week, this one is also called What the Fuck Video of the Week, so I'm just calling it Hot Lava, courtesy of our friends over at chaotic.com. Posted by Death Goddess, September of last year. It appears to be a young woman inserting a lava lamp
I'm more concerned about that mole.
That mole does look a little... I think that's
get a biopsy on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little irregular. But a lava lamp going into the vagine.
Pretty far.
And then you see the tilt
perspective. You get some perspective here.
And a little bit of grinding to get it further in. Like, trying to get
I feel like I'm watching something from like a Half-Life 2 demo reel here.
Well, and my first thought was, them things are hot. I don't know if you've ever touched a lava lamp.
Well, you see that the lava's not really moving around that much, so it's probably...
they just plugged it in.
Probably only been on for a couple minutes.
Oh, jeez.
If the lava were moving around, and had that circulation, I'd be very concerned.
Very, very
incredibly concerned.
They're hiking up the skirt there and just putting the lava lamp up there. Now, granted, I fully expected this to be a lava lamp in the butthole. I don't know why, but immediately that's what I thought. But no, straight in the vagine. And but you're right, that one mole, that one wart, whatever it is, that does not look good. I really hope whoever this was gets the medical care that they need.
Yeah. Boy.
If that's the first thing you think, you know we've desensitized ourselves in a way that's probably not healthy.
Yeah. And we go to these shock sites, and I think I see this one here in the bottom right corner. This will attract customers.
Oh, yes. This is a public sex video. I saw this earlier today.
Great.
So, oh, God. Okay. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, whatever. I like absurd, weird, gross things. I don't need snuff videos. Yeah, we already did the one that made himself look like the monster from A Quiet Place.
One and done on that one. Yeah, I don't
okay. After that, it's like, okay, you know what? Pee pee poo poo ain't so bad.
Oh, dildos? Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Let's do puke. Yeah, sure.
Dwarfs, fake dicks, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm good for right now.
You know, the lava lamp in this, I had this weird Proustian reverie. I saw that and I immediately remembered an old Rodney Moore porno where an African-American performer that he would bring on to his films that he called Mandingo after the infamous movie. And it was Molly Rome. She's staring at a lava lamp. And then it's like, yeah, the lava's so cool. And then it's like, somehow it transitions into her blowing a guy. But it was called Love That Lava. And so I think that's what I'm going to call this in the show notes. Love That Lava.
Amazing. Apparently, a family member of mine was getting harassed by a porn star that was in a Mandingo movie in the 70s.
Okay.
Was just getting like these mean emails from her for years and years and years because they were on the development team for a piece of software that hosted a blog that I guess defamed her.
Oh, wow.
I guess because it was an anonymous blog, just like, well, I'm just going to harass all the people that worked on this product.
Because, oh, Jesus.
It might have been this person you're talking about, Molly
Rome, yeah. She was a big deal for just a little while there because she had a passing resemblance to Emma Watson.
What was she like Harari Minger?
Something like that, yeah. I don't know if they ever capitalized on that, but yeah, her it was very funny because like Emma Watson, very clearly British. This Molly Rome woman, very clearly a Southern, American person. So it was very different. But love that lava. Well, you know who else loves that lava? The folks who need a breath mint. That's right.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
Segways, impeccable. We love them, and we do them.
Obviously, no one eats Segway pussy better than you.
I'm bumping my nose on the Segway clit. Brian, what do you got for us?
I was just thinking, like, bumping with your... I don't know, man. I'm kind of like a dog lapping water.
I mean, look...
I don't get the nose in there.
So, Brian, what have you been up to this week as far as stuff you've been enjoying?
Metaphorically dry firing a 9mm gun in my mouth.
Okay.
Just exhausted. I went and saw Soccer Mommy in the middle of a tornado warning. It was very exciting.
Aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? How was the show?
It was a little weird. And the show was well attended, but I think the weather definitely hurt.
Mm-hmm.
My friend and I arrived a little bit early just so in case things got weird. We were already in the Del Mar Loop. We weren't on the road. But I remember having to walk so aggressively into the wind. I was almost walking with my shoulders horizontal. That's how fucking gnarly it was. And also, we were like sitting in the parking lot before we decided, like, all right, this wind's not getting any better. Let's just walk. And we're just watching like chip bags and the Trias just floating in the sky, making references to American Beauty.
Yeah, I was going to go there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's the fucking easy go. Soccer Mommy was great. The opener, Hannah Vu, also fantastic. Just a really lovely night of music. Book ended by some really strange weather where we were at in U City, which is why I didn't feel too nervous about going to this show. In all my time living here, dealing with weird ass fucking weather, never have seen U City get the worst of it. Yeah. Aside from flooding, and this was not a situation where it sounded like there was going to be flooding. So I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I'm actually probably safer at Del Mar Hall, a recent build brick building, than I am at the fucking shanty I live in.
Very few windows.
Yeah, very few windows. There was a point, however, during Soccer Mommy's set where a song had ended and they were tuning, and you could just hear the rain or possibly hail just banging on the roof, and she's like, wow, that's the rain, huh? Like, well, if we're really in danger, someone will let me know in my in-ears, and like, that's just crazy. But I remember looking back towards the bar, and just so to paint a little bit of picture here, the Del Mar Hall is basically two rooms. You have the room you walk into, which is the bar and like waiting area that you're in before doors open. And then you have the actual venue itself. The venue itself has no windows. The bar does have a glass front to it. And I remember looking through the doors to the bar area and seeing that they had put up some ropes at one point so people weren't coming to the bar and being close to the glass just in case.
Well,
which is fair. But it was one of those things like, oh, we're there, huh? Like,
yeah, I mean, the sirens went off in this neighborhood at least 3 or 4 times. We had some real serious hail. I got some hail damage.
I had to
on the
drive
car,
through this neighborhood after because my friend that I was with lives not too far from here.
Okay.
And had to actually drive down and was like, well, this is kind of sketchy.
Well, you walked through the backyard. You saw all the different tree branches and stuff that were in my yard.
And driving down 44, saw people 50 yards ahead of me just randomly slamming on their brakes because in the darkness of the highway, there was a flooded part of the road, which caused a guy who I barely just saw on the horizon skid because I guess he was shifting as he hit the water and hydroplaned into a fucking road sign. So no one's going to know that there's a McDonald's at that fucking exit for a minute. And getting to the fucking, working class blue collar town that I got forced into. I had to piss. Super fucking tired. This is a miserable drive home. I had to fucking drive on the fucking shoulder on the highway to get around water. And then in the town that I live in, which has terrible fucking irrigation and water displacement, I had to spend another 30 minutes driving all around the fucking town to get home, when a normal day where I was at when this whole fiasco started would have been less than 5 minutes.
Jesus.
And just it sucks. I hate living here. And then of course, the fucking abandoned house next door, the fucking back wall caved in the wind last night. So I'm like, cool, I'm just going to walk over there and take a photo. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post.
I did not, no.
I made a Facebook post about, a year ago, I was living in this really cute loft. I had a really great grocery store and my gym that were less than 5 minutes away. I had really easy access to the highway. It was super easy to get wherever I needed to go. And my life fucking made sense. But hey, I can go now living in Granite City, take a walk over to the abandoned house next door and take a photo of the fucking back wall that caved in the weather last night. Cool.
Very normal. Very cool.
Just doing a little pressure release, folks.
It's all good. It's all good.
Anyways, Big J, what did you get yourself into?
Well, I read a really good book called Fever House. It's a book that takes place primarily in Seattle. Sorry, I had to actually think whether it was Portland or whether it was Seattle. It is a supernatural thriller. It is about a series of guys who come into possession of a evil hand. And much like the film Idle Hands, the evil hand compels you to do bad things. Eventually, the influence of the hand is so much that if you are killed while under the influence of the hand, you become a zombified monster man. It's this interesting book with 4 or 5 different main characters, all of whom could die at any time. It cycles through them. It's an interesting picture of, what if a paranormal type of organization were to come into contact with something truly evil, and what would they do about it? And it's fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Now, the only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that, much like a lot of books and a lot of films, it didn't really have an ending. I hate that. Please, authors of America and elsewhere, do not write for a series. Write me a story. Write me a story that has an ending. And then, if there needs to be another book, undo that ending somehow, or something. I don't know. But
if you have an intention to have it go on for multiple volumes, at least have the decency to close the loop.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you. Yes, do something. Give me closure of some sort.
Have a climax, have the post-climax, and then have that little teaser.
Yeah.
Don't have it all be fucking teaser.
A year or two later, when I read the sequel, I will not remember how the last book ended.
Sure.
So I'm going to need something up here. But overall, it was an enjoyable experience to read the book. And that's where I have to let go of some of this stuff. It's like, okay, did you like it? Was it fun while it happened? Yes. Okay. I'll forgive a little bit. I want a little bit more. And hopefully the second book, which is, I think, just came out, will absolve this of that. But I don't know. I don't know if it will. But it is definitely worth a read. It's like a James Patterson, Dean Koontz mashup, where it's kind of a crime thriller, but it's also kind of a supernatural story. There's some great character moments, and that's kind of why I forgive a lot of it, because the characters are interesting, and they all have these really interesting relationships with each other. I'm kind of like, okay, I'll forgive a lot if that's what it takes.
Sure.
Here's hoping. I've got the other one on hold at the library. Hopefully once I get through the next piece I'm going to talk about next week, which is The Angel of Indian Lake, which is the third in another series. Once I get through that, hopefully I'll be able to check out this next one from the author of Fever House.
Nerd.
I know. Books.
Reading these books.
Well, I was in Arkansas, and
yeah, man, I fucking or you want to say that for things I hated?
I do. Hot Springs was fun, but we'll talk about that later.
All right.
But the other thing that I did while I was in Hot Springs is I did catch a movie. The Russo brothers.
Oh, is this the movie that everyone's talking about?
The movie that everyone's talking about is called The Electric State. It is based on a book from the gentleman who created the art for the Amazon Prime series Tales from the Loop. I don't know if you remember that one. That was also originated as a book. I love this guy's work. He's got a really interesting eye for decrepit technology. He's kind of got this Katsuro Otomo thing where he's got these very detailed drawings of technology that is decaying, but that is also interacting with the modern world. And so the Electric State, Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown.
You're already losing me.
I know. Millie Bobby Brown.
Okay.
Stanley Tucci.
Okay.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
Voice acting by Jenny Slate.
Okay.
Voice acting by Alan Tudyk.
Okay.
Brian Cox.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a
boy. Starting off with Chris Pratt though, that's
sadly he's one of the main leads in the film.
That is a shame. I mean, it sounds like this plane ain't getting off the runway. It's crashing right into the mountain.
Well, yes and no. See, I'm so mixed feelings about the movie because, again, I love the art of the books it was based on, and the film does have a lot of faithfulness to how those things look. It's set in an alternate 1996, which includes a lot of really funny kind of Forrest Gump versions of Bill Clinton with the AI mouth flap. Very funny. Kurt Loder does appear in the film, but just as a voice.
Huh.
Because he doesn't look like himself. And he said, I don't want you to use my face, but you can use my voice. It's interesting. I think that's the nicest way I can put it, is that it's interesting. It has a lot of good ideas. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily execute them all very well, but it swings for the fences. And I have to give the Russo bros that at very least. Like, certain things really work with them. They can hit comedy beats. They can do interesting action set pieces, which obviously everybody knows that from the Avengers movies they've done. But unfortunately, what happens is, they're used to working on the Marvel budget, which again, they got like $300-something million.
Ridiculous fucking budget.
And it shows because it looks expensive. The movie looks expensive when you see it. But unfortunately, it also looks like a Marvel product with all that entails. Meaning that, as we talked about, it was shot for post-production. Certain scenes have to be lit a certain way because that's how the CG is going to be in there. Woody Harrelson is a Mr. Peanut. That's a whole subplot that I don't want to get into. Yep. But thematically, it's got a lot of interesting stuff that they clearly...
What do you mean you don't have the crystals to jump through time?
They clearly pulled a lot of stuff from like the Animatrix, one of those Animatrix shorts, as far as like this war between humans and robots. And the robots have been segregated off into an exclusion zone in the American Southwest. And so this character, played by Millie Bobby Brown, whose name I don't even remember because it's so fucking unimportant, she has to go find her brother because there's a robot who's acting like him, and she's convinced that the real brother, who supposedly died years ago, is out there somewhere in the exclusion zone. And then you've got Stanley Tucci as the evil tech mogul, Jeff Bezos type, who's trying to keep her from them. Giancarlo Esposito is essentially doing... I don't know if you remember this movie. It was called Surrogates. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis. So he's doing the surrogates bit where he's at home, but he's controlling a robot bounty hunter. It does take a bit to get there. There's a little bit of setup. But once the movie starts firing, once you got Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, and all these characters just kind of like zingers back and forth, and they're doing the kind of quippy Marvel-esque thing, it's a ride. It's a fun ride. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good film, but is entertaining, which is more than I can say for a lot of stuff Netflix puts out. So, Swedish artist Simon Stålenhag, much like the book that it's based on. But I mean, just this decrepit artwork. If you see, even just the cover here is great. And they do a lot of this stuff in the film. It kind of looks like the Fremont Troll out in Seattle, mm-hmm. underneath this bridge, but it's a robot, right? And so it's this American road trip picture. It's a war movie. It's a movie about segregation. Like, it wants to swing for a lot of different ideas, and it just can't quite get there on any of them, which is just a damn shame. Because the book obviously does a lot of that, and it does a lot of it with simple art and very little text on the pages.
So with $300-something million, they couldn't do what a book, parchment, ink, and some binding.
Yeah. Again, it's fine. Gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd.
More like Litterbox.
Hey-o. That sounds like a Harry Knowles joke. What about you, big dog? What else you got for us this week? Final Fantasy Rebirth? Not liking it?
I don't like it.
Yeah?
I'm, again, still stuck on the grasslands. And but the thing is, I feel like the way I'm being bottlenecked is I have to do all the dumb shit here before I move on to the Mirthful Mines.
You don't have to.
But that's not how I feel like I'm being nudged.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. I completed everything in the fucking grasslands. I know the feeling because it happened to me.
Dear Penthouse.
Yeah.
I didn't think it happened to me.
You'll never believe what happened.
But man, this game, I mean, I really feel like Remake had its fucking hooks in me rather immediately.
Yes.
And this is struggling. It feels funky. It feels aimless. It does not have the immediacy. It does not have the drive so far. And again, I know I'm still in the first area, but holy shit, man.
There's too much to do. It's too much stuff. The Chadley shit is bothering me because I feel compelled to do it all.
Oh, yeah. Get free materia?
Right.
To do like a simple... But like, I do not feel like this game respects my time.
No.
I felt like Remake did. Like, it gave me everything I wanted.
Because you haven't gotten to Yuffie yet. You haven't gotten to Kate Sith yet.
No, but still, like, this game is... I'm struggling. And I thought I would love it because I loved Remake. Remake was such a fucking... I felt like that understood what it needed to be completely.
At the time, I thought, oh, this is padding. This is padding out an already long game. Now seeing Rebirth, I'm like, well, maybe I was a little too harsh on Remake.
I felt like Rebirth was just right. Remake. I feel like Remake was just right. It did everything it wanted to do. The fucking Kingdom Hearts bullshit, don't need it, but everything else.
Oh, and the Kingdom Hearts bullshit is very much there, and it continues on. It's actually a main plot point. You follow the guys in the black robes, yada, yada, yada. There's so much stuff crammed in there. Let's not even address Queen's Blood, the whole fucking card game that you gotta get invested in.
But at least that's fun.
And then once you start getting to level 6 of Queen's Blood, which is where I just started, I've had to restart Queen's Blood matches 5 or 6 times. just to beat the fucking match, because like, oh yeah, I gotta put this card in and
build your deck right.
Yeah. It's like the card game in Final Fantasy VIII, whose name I don't even remember because I felt so annoyed by it. I don't even like this. Why am I doing this? Oh, well, you need it for this, and this for later in the game. Well, fuck.
Yeah, you want Knights of the Round? Bitch, boy, you better do this fucking Queen's Blood.
No, I think Knights of the Round is going to come from...
That's going to be the third one, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be in the third one because that's where you get it in the original. But
I'm just not getting the same level of focus as I did with Remake, and that's troublesome.
I mean, even the main plot.
Because,
even the main plot, you're going off on tangents 50 million times a second.
It's really bad when Final Fantasy 15 starts looking coherent in comparison.
Yeah, road trip with your bros. That makes.
But like
more
the actual
sense.
plot of Final Fantasy, who fucking knows? Because that game's, you can tell that game has been restarted in production so many times. It's literally like 3 different games just sawed in together.
Oh, and then there's you got to watch the movie to get the basic plot of the game. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with 15, but I just did not care too much about the plot.
Noctis is a great character.
His bros, fun. They all they're in Papa Roach.
Yeah, I love the road trip part. I like all the stuff where you're like, oh, let's go take pictures and fight giant monsters. Like, okay, this is kind of fun. All right, I get this.
DLC was pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
I don't think the third act is that bad. Where you're like in the future, sort of
a little
linear, but fun. Like they got to the good shit.
Yeah, it's like the first Final Fantasy 13 game where it's like, yeah, it's a little linear, but you get to where you need to go.
Yeah 15 is just a fucking mess. As much fun as I had with it, still have no idea what the fuck that game's about. Like what's trying to, if it says anything, I think it's just like a fun game loop. And fucking Rebirth doesn't feel like it so far has even hit that level of proficiency. And who knows, maybe I get done fucking doing all the grindy shit in grasslands and start moving this story a little bit more and have a great time. Who knows? But right now it's plotting. Again, stretching it out.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I'm way farther in the game than you are, and I'm telling you, it doesn't really change much. There's still the plodding to get where you need to go.
That's fucking depressing.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have to wait until like I have like a broken leg and have no reason to like leave the house. Like I got too much going on for this. That's why I've barely played it.
Sure.
I mean, I also have it on my PC. I guess if I had a PS5, it would make a little bit more sense. But like playing it in front of the PC is not the same as sitting on the couch and playing it.
Very different. Yeah, I'm playing it out here with the projector, and it's definitely a cinematic type of game that looks real good, blown up real big.
Well, man, you want to put a bow on it?
Let's do it. Brian, why don't you tell people where to find you online to complain about Final Fantasy?
Gosh, if you want to have fun with your friends, you can find me on Twitter at ishotgidibor, ISHOTGUIDBORD. You can find me over on Blue Sky under the same handle. You can find me on Instagram at a music photographer. If you want to check out my photography portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. If you want to check out the last and only good music media arts website left in St. Louis, you can head over to theartsstl.com. By the time this is up, maybe I'll eventually have my Disturbed write-up.
Ooh, wah, ah, ah, ah.
Ooh, wah, ah, ah, ooh, wah, ah, ah, e. Yeah, I just been fucking... That one just took a while to make the gears turn. So many great shows coming up this month. Next month is fucking crazy.
Well, for me, it's Soul Coughing.
Soul Coughing, Lord Jane Grace.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be a cool year for music in St. Louis, I think. Just wish we still had stuff like the RFT Music Festival. Just like something to get people to come together from different scenes and just be like, ain't it cool that like we got this little shitty town, but the music's all right?
It's a damn shame is what it is.
It's a damn shame. All right, my dude, where can they find you?
Oh, boy, you can find me a number of places. Chances are, if there's a video crime, that's me, VIDEOCRIME. I still have a Twitter account, but I'm barely on there, aside from posting news about the show. Mostly, I'm over at Blue Sky. As mentioned previously in the show, Letterboxd. That's also a fun place that I hang out as well. You can find me as part of a podcast that's not this one. It's called Submitted for the Approval of the Midnight Pals. There, I play a fictional version of Stephen King. Season 2 well underway. There's an episode where I play Richard Bachman and Stephen King.
Amazing.
And it's coming up, and so you get to hear me flex both the Stephen voice and the Richard Bachman voice. Like I do two very different voices, and it's really fun. So that is midnight-pals.simplecast.com, or search Midnight Pals anywhere fine podcasts are sold. If you want to talk to the show, Brian or myself, either way,
go for it.
You can do that in a number of ways. My personal favorite is give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO. If you like to spell with your telephone, leave us a message. Tell us what you think. Or, death threats, whatever. You can also do that same thing over email. Jason at 8 minutesofdogsbarking.com. Brian with a Y at 8 minutesofdogsbarking.com. If you really, really, really vibe with the show, like a lot of you do, and I thank you all for your various comments and ratings and whatnots, you can support the show. Patreon.com/for8minutesofdogs. There we have our post-show hangout we call Thanks I Hate It. When we really want to get freaky with it, we do something called the Mind Zone. Once a year, we do something special for the punishment tier. If you get in at the $10 level before the end of the year, we'll deliver to you something special that no one else has. Last year, we did the 90-minute commentary track for the Japanese puke fetish video, Garo Monster Home Delivery. It was something very special because it also had us doing our Christmas gift exchange. Get in there at the $10 level. Get yourself on the punishment tier,
Get yourself in there, dog.
And I'll be posting, what do you want us to do this year? And maybe you want us to do, like we talked about last week, the 64-ounce Modelo chug, whatever it is.
What's up, chuggers?
What is up, chuggers? Well, that about does it for the show. My name's Jason. That's Brian. As we always say at this time, namaste. Good luck. Give mommy a good gut fucking. Who ate all the pussy? 25th Amendment now. And hey, remember, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.